Welcome back to this episode of No Nerds. We're excited to see you. Today we have a wonderful topic. Today our topic is combining computerized and hand guided. I know this is one of my favorite topics, so I'm
Me
excited
too.
to get started.
Yeah, I think we all love
Kat?
this topic. Yeah. It's definitely one of my favorite things. I especially love using hand-guided background fills because it's so much faster
Mhm.
than clicking out a boundary and fill or trim and all that. So I do that a lot.
I often, when we're on the road, I ask everybody if they have a hand-guided machine to raise their hand, and half the room does. And I'm like, you all have hand-guided machines.
You've
I
caught me
think
on that a couple times.
I think people forget that
Hmm.
it's just a big sewing machine on wheels, and you can have the freedom of hand guiding whenever you want to.
Yep.
So I do it a lot. In fact, I'm doing it right now. Right before we started filming, I've got a quilt on the frame that I am hand guiding the background because figuring out the fill would take forever. And hand guiding it is, I mean, it could be done, but I don't want to spend all afternoon with my nodes. I just want to finish the quilt.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's funny because I have a little Trapunto project on my frame and same thing. I'm like, well, I'm going to have to hand guide so I can just get in between all the little teeny tiny itty bitty pieces because it's a lot of itty bitty spaces. Yeah. There's no way I'm clicking all that out.
Right, right,
I'd be there for till like next year clicking.
right. I think sometimes people forget that it's an option, especially when you spend your whole life in computerized land.
Hmm.
It's been really fun this year on tour seeing hand guiders start to adopt the computer software and CS and all of the power that it has. Even if you're not using it to stitch out, you can still use it for all sorts of things. I think that's really fun. People think that it only goes one way, but I think it goes both
Goes
ways, which
both.
is really fun.
Hmm. Yeah.
I
I've seen
love
it.
seeing I love seeing the people with a Statler realize how easy it is to disconnect the belts. It's just
Yeah.
those it's just those two little screws and then they have, the whole
Mhm.
the whole freedom of the
Hmm.
hand guiding.
And don't you
Uh,
think it's amazing that people who've had their Statlers for like 20 years have never dropped the belts?
I
yes.
I
think
mean, I do
Or
it
they
every day, at least two or three times
or
a
they
day.
didn't know they could.
I
Yeah.
think it sounds scary. I have to drop the
Right,
belt. Like I think people might think they need to take the belt off the machine, and that's not it.
Yeah.
It's literally just like Paula
It's
said,
just a screw.
unscrewing it and just moving it to the side. That's all you're
Yeah.
doing.
I have
Yeah.
to tell you now with my Ascend, I very often don't even drop the belts because Power Assist is so smooth
Hmm.
that I just leave them up and make sure my Power Assist is on and off I go. There's a little learning curve there, but I still do that a lot.
You said on tour something about using power assist uses like the motor to like help you.
Yeah.
And what did you say to do to use it for stitch in the
Meanders
ditch?
and stitch in the ditch. Yeah.
Yeah. I
It's
haven't
like
tried that yet. It's on my list.
it like helps you the algorithm is like helping you to stay straight. And so if you're stitching like sashings or a long border that's mostly straight, then it helps you not wiggle, which is nice. And if you're doing a meander, it's got to be a fairly large meander. It keeps it nice and round and even, which makes me better than I am, which is cool. So
Love
I
those
use
tools.
it a lot for those two things, especially. I do turn it off for micro work, or if I'm doing some kind of complicated hand-guided maneuver or ruler work, I'll turn it off too. But it's great for stitch in the ditch, and it's really good for a meander.
I got to try it. It's
Mhm.
on my list.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Last year when we were on tour, we talked, or I'm sorry,
Year
the
before.
summit. In Summit is what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
Summit. Yeah.
The class we taught about the feather class, the feather fills
Yes.
class that we did with CS. I thought that was a lot of fun. I do that a lot where I will have CS set up my feather spines, or if I want to have like symmetrical feathers, I just did that downstairs. I'll have the feather spine put in for me, and then I'll drop the belts and I'll put the feathers in. So they're my own feathers, but they're perfectly symmetrical. Tucker did that amazing panel project where it was all done that way. It's sort of half Statler, but with your own feathers. And that's really cool. I just think that's, it gives you the power of both. Why make a circle for a circle wreath that's not going to be perfect when Statler can make the circle and then I can go and feather it, right? Like, why
Mhm.
That's
not?
one of the first things I did when I was learning CS is like, I want a nice, perfect crosshatch circle for the center of my wreaths. And so I've
Yeah,
got that set up.
yeah.
I have an elevate. And so I have a little bit different, not different capabilities, but maybe not quite as many as Statler, but I'm finding that I can still do, like Doc, like you said, the feather spines. It's so much easier than what I was trying to do before. I was trying to make a stencil and a template so I could trace it. It's like, oh, I can do this now. And it's
Right.
so much more helpful.
It's one
Mhm.
less ruler to buy. You don't have to buy a spine ruler.
Oh,
Well, I
well,
have
hold on
them.
now. Hold on now. We still buy all the rulers.
Well, of course, but
You
Yes.
still have to buy all the rulers. Yeah.
I have all the rulers. I just don't need them as often as I
yeah.
used to.
Sometimes, like, especially if you're just starting out your hand guiding journey, it can be like challenging to know how to use the ruler and like
Hmm.
where to move it and when to pause and how to pause and all that. So I think sometimes it can be easier to have the Statler just or your Elevate stitch out that framework, if you will, and then you go back and add in the hand guiding.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And then on the
I
flip
think
side
that's
of
what the
that,
Statler. Ooh,
go ahead.
go ahead, Paula. Oh, okay. Um, so I think that's what the Statler does really, really well for me. Like 85% of the quilting that I do is a combination of both computerized and hand guided. And I really don't like computerized and hand guided because a lot of us, fit right in the middle, and a lot of us go both
We do
ways. So
both,
it's,
yeah.
Hmm.
not really one way or the other anymore. But a lot of what I do combines both, and the Statler works so well in placing those perfect, precise patterns and putting in that framework, just like the quilt behind me. And then I can go in there and add in the pebbles and the ruler work and the fills to really enhance the quilt and enhance what the Statler can do. So
Hmm.
it's just expanding on the capabilities of what the machine can do and what we can do as quilters.
It gives a different look, right? I mean, hand guided is whimsical and personal and can be very, um,
Organic.
yeah, organic.
Yes.
And really, I always say that the feathers are like a quilter's fingerprints, right? And so you can do all that with hand guiding, but you get the the math, right? All the math can be done for you precisely with the Statler or the Ascent, which or the Elevate, which I think is really fun. You were going to say something, Paula.
Yeah, Kat was talking about having the precision of the machine instead of, fussing with the rulers. But I'm thinking on the flip side, on tour this year, I've seen a lot of people with Statlers be very excited about learning how to do a ruler. So if they have something tiny or a little stitch in the ditch or something that would be really awkward to do all the clicking, they can throw in a ruler and get that done really quickly. And so they're experiencing the joy of the hand guiding with rulers combining that with their styler. So it's, a lot depends on the what you're applying it to.
I want to, one of my goals is to do more stencil work. Like I have not really done a lot of that, just a little bit playing around on tour. And I
Yeah.
have the pounce pad and all the things. I just have to sit down and do it. What you got there for us, Doc?
I was going to show you this feather sash thing that we taught last year, which I think is a really, I
Cool.
call it the gateway to feathers. So if you're nervous, computer user and have never done your own feathers, this is how I got over my fear. Um, this feather sash is a free Statler pattern, and you can make it fit into your sashings or your borders or whatever. It's a point-to-point pattern, so you can apply it to your line. You can, mirror it or flip it or whatever you need to do to make it look lovely. But there's lots of space in here that you can drop your belts and come in and hand guide. And I don't know about you, but when I started doing feathers, mine kind of looked like fingers. And so every like fourth or fifth feather, you have a feather that Statler has put in there for you to
Like a
sort of keep
template almost. You'd even
almost like a template, right? And you
stitch
can
over
keep
it
your
to get your muscle memory if you wanted
That's
to.
right. You can either trace it or you can go around it, or you can just, I mean, for me, just seeing it is enough to really keep me honest, right? To keep my feathers going in the same direction, keep them looking cool. And if you stretch them just a hair or mess with the nodes just a little, they don't look quite so perfect, which I think is the trick for these. I've set up whole quilts with this and then drop the belts and come back in and feather. It's so much easier than moving all those nodes, and it's a lot of fun. So if you want to practice your feathers, the feather sash is a really great place to start. It gives you a nice spine and some feathers to keep you honest as you're practicing.
Mhm.
I love that. That's such
We
a
did.
great tip.
It was fun. We saw people who had never feathered before drop the
Hmm.
belts, and
They
within
loved
10 or
it.
15 minutes, we're feathering, which,
Yep.
they didn't think they could do. So sometimes it's just about doing it. We were telling people last in that same class that you can watch lots of YouTube videos, and we want you to watch all the videos, but you won't get better unless you do it. So,
I think one of my favorite parts of that class was um, I could ask Paula to write her name in cursive, and then I can write her name in cursive. It's not going to look the same because
mm-mm,
Paula's been writing her name for many years. This is my first time writing her name. And like feathers are similar, like they're going to evolve and get better as you go. And like you said, everyone's feathers are a little different. We could all write Paula's name, but it's going to look different. And I think that's one of the things that makes it really cool and unique because we could all stitch the same feather, if you will, but all of our quilts will look different. And I
mhm.
think that like just helps with the whole artistry behind it.
Yeah.
I think all hand-guided motifs are that way. Once I realized that I didn't, I shouldn't be trying to make Tucker's pebbles or Natalia Bonner's pebbles or, somebody famous, their pebbles. Once I started making my own pebbles, right? Like, then I liked them, right? And they had their own doc feel about them. And then I could get better at them. It was if you're always trying to like copy somebody else, you're always like a bad second place instead of, really
Yeah, please.
learning your own.
Hmm. It's funny because you guys are side by side on my screen. And so, yeah, I'm totally comparing your pebbles
Don't
right
look too
now.
close, right?
And they are different, but they're both amazing.
Mm,
Mhm.
I think it's important as people are on their journey of putting hand guided with computerized is they realize that other people's work should be inspiration and not comparison.
yeah,
Yes, we are
yeah.
our own worst enemies when it comes to that, Paula.
Well, and
Yes,
often
we
like
are.
often the stuff we see on YouTube is their very best feather. It's not the
True.
30 bad ones that they
Hmm.
practice
Yep.
before they turn
Good
their
point.
camera on, right?
Yeah. And
So don't compare
also,
your worst to somebody else's best, right?
and they worked out their path ahead of time and
Mhm.
planned what they were going to quilt ahead of time before they even started filming. So,
Yeah.
yeah, got to
One thing
keep
we
those
haven't
things
talked
in
about
mind.
is our channel locks on our settler. I call that hand guiding too, right? Even though the belts are up, um, we have those tools, right? And sometimes like laying in some lines, whether they're straight lines or on an angle, because we can flip our angles and play
True.
with radiating things, right? We
Yeah.
can really save a lot of time doing it that way instead of drawing all those lines with, draw a line. I find that if I can use
So,
my
like,
channel locks in the background, for example, or in a piano keyboard, or if I can get it, get the quilt square enough to use them, that I can be a lot more efficient that way.
I
I
never
just did
thought about
that.
that. So, like, instead
Yeah.
of marking it with chalk, you can just
Yeah,
stitch it out.
yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I
a good
just did
idea.
that on a border. Had a scalloped inside quilting design that I had to meet and travel along and then do the next piano key. And so with the Elevate, I have my buttons to do my channel locks. And so I set it up so that I'd travel hand guided, pop the channel lock on, do the piano key, go up, keep the channel lock,
yeah.
unlock it, do the traveling. Oh, and I only figured it out like halfway through the quilt and the rest of it went so much faster.
That's brilliant,
It is a
Paula.
lot faster.
Yeah. Because then I don't have to worry if my ruler is perfectly
Yeah.
perpendicular and it's like
Right.
just, yeah, it was
Yeah.
great.
And if you're doing consistently and consistent, then you can get away with murder, right?
Hmm.
Sometimes if I've got a really wavy border, I'll come I'll set my channel locks out in no man's land and then come up to the seam and then back out. So I'm backtracking on that same seam, which is easy with your channel locks on. And
Yeah.
because you're stitching it twice, you get like really cool texture and it draws up all that fullness. So
That's
it's
a good
like
idea too.
bang for
Yeah.
your buck. Yeah, I do that
I
a
Yeah.
have
lot
done
with
that
a
a
wavy
couple times for
border.
that exact same reason. It's like, oh, this needs some extra, and yeah, and it really pops that that border to have that extra thread. And then the channel lock, like I said, it's exactly on top.
Hmm.
That's a good idea.
Sometimes I can set up like if we have a gridded quilt or something where I've got some hallmarks in the piecing, I can sometimes do a real easy hand-guided edge to edge faster than I can even set it up in Stadler.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, it won't be as precise, but if it's a kid's quilt or a charity quilt or um, something that I can play on, then often it's a lot faster to do it that way.
Hmm.
So if you're quilting for others, time is money, and you can really increase your hourly rate if you can load some kids' quilts and loops and stars or, L's and
Meander.
E's or
I'm
something
so
simple.
fast at
Yeah,
meandering. Like I can do it faster than the Statler can do it, you know?
right,
Yeah.
right. Mm.
So when you
Do you
say
ever
hand
work
guided,
in constant?
oh,
So I'm using regulated right now, but that's one of my other goals was to transition, if you will, whatever, into constant this year. And I've been playing around with it. And I realized I was going too slow. So I need to
Mm,
bump the speed up to 25 and play again.
yeah.
I'll be honest, I was like a little worried about putting it into constant mode. Then after a
Hmm.
few minutes, I was like, oh, actually, this is kind of nice. My tension's horrible, but this is kind of nice. And then I learned later the tension's horrible because I had the speed too slow.
Right.
So yeah, I'm gonna try again because I was pleasantly surprised at it's a whole
Hmm.
different feel, and I really liked
Mhm.
it.
I
So
think
I
that's
went into
surprising
it
to a lot
wary,
of
but I came
people.
out being like, this is actually really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, on tour, I'll have people, practicing something in a regulated mode, and as they're stitching, I'll pop it into regulated if they're like on
You
the
mean
Vision
constant?
tablets. Constant, yes.
Okay.
And then because I want them to feel that difference immediately of, oh,
Yeah.
wow, this is so smooth, and to,
Hmm.
it's not scary. And because you can adjust the speed, you can find a speed that's just right for how fast you like to move your
Yeah.
hands.
My stitches might
Especially
not be
too when you're
perfect
doing.
for Paducah, but they're good enough for like a charity quilt or a practice quilt, right? And I'm
Yeah.
only going to get them to be good enough for Paducah
By doing it.
by doing it, right? And so I don't know. I think it's really fun to work in constant if you can.
What were you gonna say, Tucker?
Especially when you're doing like micro work, like any,
Hmm.
and my
Oh,
rule of thumb is anything less than a half of an inch, I'm putting it into constant because the internal momentum of the machine stays the same. So
Hmm.
your body gets more used to it isn't the right word, but you know what I mean by more
like
used to
a
it.
little bit
Right.
more
Yeah.
And
relaxed.
you,
Yeah. I did this quilt behind me in constant. I did the pebbles and the feathers in constant because they're really small. There's a lot of micro in there. And I think your rounder shapes stay rounder when you're in constant. And it's just, I don't know, for me, it's if you're making a pebble and your stitches are too long on the first time, go around one more time. You
True.
can tell.
Alrighty, well, that we're gonna wrap it up here for this episode of Node Nerds. We hope that you have some confidence to drop those belts and try to do a little bit of hand guiding. Because remember, we all have hand guided machines, so don't be afraid to
Right.
drop the belts and try it out. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Node Nerds, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.